All right, so before further delay, let's go ahead and move on to the main event. Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. Welcome to part 4 of the Eventuri Carbon Fiber Intake series for the GR Corolla. So the time of me filming today is July 9th, 2023 on a Sunday. Tomorrow is July 10th, 2023, Monday, which is the official launch date where you can order the Eventuri Carbon Fiber Intake for your GR Corolla. Now, before I get started on today's vlog, I wanted to share with you that I've actually been keeping a secret from you as to what's included in this intake kit for tomorrow's official launch. But before we get started, let's go ahead, get this beautiful intake torn down, and get started on today's vlog. So let's go. All right, now that we have the Eventuri intake system removed, we're gonna remove the radiator panel as well. And of course, underneath, revealing the front scoop that I shared in part 1 of the video on this video series. So let's go ahead and put the radiator panel aside and we'll look at what Eventuri sent over to us. Here is the special care package that the guys from Eventuri sent over. Thank you guys. Everything about their packaging is just absolutely fantastic. And of course, let's see if we can zoom in here. Of course, you gotta zoom in on the Queen's Award for Enterprise International Trade. That isn't something that you get every day. Props to you guys on that. All right, so before further delay, let's go ahead and move on to the main event. Let's open this guy and see what they sent over. So first of all, it looks like we have the final and revised intake scoop for the front grille. So just a little bit about this. The top tab work was revised slightly just for much better fitment. And the scoop was also revised. If you guys see, there was a 2-channel prong there. And this new one is a full scoop with much more aggressive side pieces. And of course, gotta love the Eventuri logo on front. So once you have it mounted up, you'll be able to see it from the front grille and it'll look much better. Let's move on to part 2. What do we have under here? And of course, this is the piece that I have been holding back from you guys from part 1. This is their new and improved carbon fiber intake arm for this carbon fiber intake system. So let me go and grab the original one so we can do a comparison of what is different between this new guy and the original intake arm from the first prototype that we had. Okay, so I have both intake arms side by side. As you guys can see, the bottom one right here is the original intake arm that they sent over to me for this prototype, and this is made in plastic. And of course, this gorgeous piece up top is the revised one in full carbon fiber. You guys look inside, this is not a skinned piece, this is all carbon fiber inside and out. It has the included clamps or the bracketry for the hoses, the same bracket as well for the intake arm to be fastened to the back of the engine. And one thing I really wanted to point out, see if you guys can see closely on camera, this is the profile. So you'll see that they actually revised the shape as well, not just the materials. Once again, the shape. You can see that the original one was just straight. It turns about 45. Whereas the new one, you can see it actually enlarges on this bend right here. So it's intentional, of course, for improved airflow, more airflow, and of course redirecting the front intake housing to be more efficient so that there is less turbulence and faster air draft. I'm hoping I'm explaining that correctly, but more efficient air draft that goes from the intake arm into the engine and turbo. So this will definitely help improve the performance and improve this from the GR Yaris intake much better. And of course, this was specifically tailored and designed for the GR Corolla. So let's go ahead and get this guy installed along with the front intake scoop and get this intake system fully completed. All right, so I am back. First thing we're gonna do is swap out this new intake scoop for the old one, which a much more improved design. And this is my favorite part, so we'll go ahead and set it down here. And we will remove and officially have the Eventuri logo on our front intake scoop. Just love that. We'll move on to here, move the clips like so, and remove the old one for the new one. So let's put this guy in place like so, and I will put one clip back in for now because the second hole will need to be fastened with a screw. But let's go ahead and just put this guy in for now. Let's see how this looks. So you can see it's much tighter and much more direct draft into the intake. And of course, my favorite, in the front grille, when you look from the very front, you cannot mistake in that is an Eventuri equipped GR Corolla. Now we have the brand new carbon fiber intake tube installed. Wow, this thing just looks absolutely stellar, and it's kind of a shame because it sits slightly behind the engine, but we do know that this isn't just for looks, this is for performance as well. And of course, once we have this buckled back together, it'll really tie in all the carbon fiber pieces together. But next, all we need to do is essentially, see right here, there is a bracket on the intake tube that I showed earlier. This needs to be fastened to the back of the engine to give it additional support. We need to buckle in the hose clamp in the back just to make sure everything's secure. And then we will then reinstall the front portion of the intake system back in place, and then we'll be set to go. Now we have the front carbon fiber filter housing back installed. We have fastened the bolt of the intake arm to the back of the engine. We have also tightened the clamps on that essentially hold the two pieces together. Now all we need to do is reinstall the front snorkel. And all this needs is some alignment. Look from the top to make sure it's dead centered. And then there's just two bolt points, one on the left, one on the right. And once you have everything fastened, this should be the final product. Excuse the engine cover not being in place, but just really showing the intake itself. You can now see essentially air draws in from the brand new revised intake scoop with the Eventuri logo. It will draw air both from the scoop as well as the front grille. You can kind of see a shadow of the red scoop there. So it does a dual draw of air both from the grille and the top grille and the lower grille. It'll then come up into the front snorkel, which will then pass air into the carbon fiber filter housing, and then back into the new and revised carbon fiber rear intake tube, back to the turbo. All right, we are now fully installed. We have the full, complete Eventuri Carbon Fiber Intake system releasing tomorrow. And by the time you guys watch today's video, it will be officially available at your local Eventuri dealers. So definitely reach out and get your orders in. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys liked what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe below. And until next time, we'll see you on the next venture.